Hi, in today's lesson, we're going to look at fractional distance. Before today, we looked at midpoint, which is a point that's located exactly half the distance from one endpoint. So for example, if I have a segment and I say this is a midpoint, I can know it's a midpoint because each side has to be exactly equal. Today, we're going to look at different fractional distances. So instead of halfway exactly in the middle, we might just want to go 1/4 of the way, or 2/3, or 3/5, or some fraction other than 1/2 from one end to the other. So for example, if I wanted to be 1/4 from the left point towards the right point, I'd have to divide this into 4 equal pieces, and then 1/4 of the way. Okay? So that's what we're going to do today. It's a 3-step process when you're on a number line. Step 1, we need to find the distance between the endpoints. Step 2, we're going to multiply that distance by the fraction we're trying to find. And then step 3, we're going to add or subtract the product from each endpoint. Okay? So, for example, on this one, find point A, that is 1/6 the distance from C to T. So the first thing I need to do is figure out how far is it from C to T. Okay, so there's 2 ways we could do that to find CT. We can take the biggest point, 5, and subtract the smallest point, -7, which is 5 minus -7 is really 5 plus 7, 12. Or we could count to get from C to T. Remember, when you first put your pen, you can't start counting until you move. So when I put my pen there, I haven't moved yet, so that's 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So either way, you'll get 12 for step 1. Okay? Step 2, we're going to multiply the distance by the fraction. So the fraction I'm working with here is 1/6. So I'm going to take this 12 and I'm going to multiply by 1/6. And the 12, I'm just going to think of that as 12 over 1 so that it makes our multiplication. Since we don't have a fancy calculator, it's going to make the multiplication easy because then I can just multiply straight across. 1 times 12 is 12, and 6 times 1 is 6. So 12 divided by 6, that's just 2. Okay, so that's step 2. Multiply what I got from step 1 times the fraction 1/6. Okay. Last but not least, it says to add or subtract the product from the appropriate endpoint. It says I want to go from C to T. So I'm starting at -7, and I'm traveling towards 5. So I'm moving towards the right on the number line. So my numbers are getting bigger, which means they're increasing. So when I'm moving right on a number line, I need to add to my starting point. My starting point was -7. I need to add the answer I got from step 1 and 2 to that -7. If I was moving left, I would have started at 5, and I would have subtracted the answer I got. So -7 plus 2 is a -5. That is my point A. So -5 is where point A is going to be. Okay, let's do another example. So again, first, find out how long it is from one endpoint to the other. Multiply that by a fraction, and then add or subtract from your beginning of your segment. Okay, so you might want to pause the video and try this second one and see how you do, and see if you get the same answer that I do. All right, so if you pause your video, let's see if you get the same answer I get. The step 1 was to find out how far is it from M to R. What is this distance? Well, I have 7 and a -8. So 7 minus -8 is really 7 plus 8, which is 15. Or I could have counted 15. Okay, I'm going to take that number, I'm going to make it look like a fraction because I know I'm going to multiply a fraction to it, and it's easier for me if it is to multiply 2 fractions together. The fraction I'm working with is 2/3. So 2 times 15 is 30. 3 times 1 is 3. And 30 divided by 3 is 10. So that is step 2. Multiply the answer from part 1 to the fraction. Okay? The last thing I need to do, step 3, is I need to decide, am I going to add or subtract from my beginning point. It says I'm going from M to R. So I'm starting at M this time. I'm starting at 7. And I'm moving towards R. I'm moving left. Since I'm moving left, that means I want to subtract. So I'm going to subtract from that 7. What am I going to subtract? I'm going to subtract the answer that I got, the 10. 7 minus 10 is negative 3. So negative 3 is where point A goes. Okay, that is 2/3 traveling from M towards R. Let's try another one. So on the last one here, I'm going to go 2/5 from A to T. So the first thing I need to do is, how far is it from A to T? We can subtract. 9 minus 2 is 7, or we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I'm going to multiply this number by my fraction, which is 2/5. I'm going to make this look like a fraction so that I can multiply straight across. 2 times 7 is 14. 5 times 1 is 5. 14/5. So if I take my cell phone, I can do 14 divided by 5 and get a decimal. And I get 14 divided by 5 as a decimal is 2.8. Okay, so I have 2.8, and I'm traveling from A to T. So if I'm going from A towards T, I'm traveling to the right, so that means I'm going to add to A. A is at 2. I'm going to add 2.8. So that's going to give me 2 plus 2.8 is 4.8. That is my point N. N is the point 4.8. 4.8 would be almost at 5. Okay, in the next video, we're going to look at what happens when you're not on a number line. What happens when you're on a coordinate grid? You have an X and a Y value to work with. So that's what our next video will focus on. Okay, thank you for watching.